Hello and welcome to National Focus. I'm Aliyah Martin. In the headlines, 11 women recognized on International Women's Day. The Ministry of Agriculture reiterates call for the cultivation of coffee plants. And a revolving loan fund to better facilitate climate adaptations. The details of the headline stories and more when we return. Welcome back. 11 women have been recognized for their leadership roles in caregiving and digital transformation as part of the International Women's Day celebrations. Kuvia John has more in this report.
International Women's Day 2023 is being observed under the theme Digital, Innovation and Technology for Gender Equality. An award ceremony was held on Wednesday, March 8, 2023 at the State House Conference Room, where 11 women were rewarded for their work in caregiving and digital transformation. Dr. Germaine Japierre received the Women's Leadership Award in Digital Transformation for her work in that field, locally and regionally. Meanwhile, Jenny Honoré, Managing Director of Chances, Marie-Thérèse Jonquier, CEO of FACS, Clanis John Baptiste, Director of Dominica Infirmary, Janelia Rouye, Owner and Manager of New Age Residential Care, Agnes Joseph, Manager of House of Hope, Nathalie Sampson, Managing Director of Maho Senior Citizens Home, Joya Patrick, Administrator of the Northern District Home for the Aged, Angela DeWurst, Managing Director of Grotto Home for the Homeless, Wilma Esprit, Owner of Agape Care Nursing Home, and Antonia Yankee, Manager of Radical Faith Home, each received awards for their leadership in caregiving services. Director of the Bureau of Gender Affairs, Ms. Melissa Morgan, says the theme of this year's observance aims to recognize the contribution that women are making to technology.
This year's theme aims to recognize and celebrate the contribution of women and girls are making to technology and online education. It is celebrated every year on March 8th worldwide, commemorating the political, social, and economic achievements of women. The Ministry of Health, Wellness, and Social Services via the Bureau of Gender Affairs uses International Women's Day to assess progress made towards the achievement of Sustainable Development Goal 5, achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls.
She says the theme falls in line with the digital economy transformation currently being implemented by the government.
In Dominica, we have made significant progress in raising economic empowerment, political participation, leadership, and decision-making power. This year, the theme speaks to recognizing digital technology as opening new doors for the global empowerment of women, girls, and other marginalized groups. From gender-responsive digital learning to tech-facilitated sexual and reproductive health care, the digital age represents an unprecedented opportunity to eliminate all forms of inequalities. This theme is in support and in sync with the current implementation of the Digital Economic Transformation Project on Island.
Minister of State in the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Social Services, with special responsibility for senior security, children at risk, gender affairs, and the differently abled, Honorable Dr. Cassandra Williams, says she is happy to recognize women who champion the care of the country's most vulnerable.
I am elated that the government has decided to use this observance to highlight caregivers who have played a critical role in caring for our most vulnerable. This comes on the heels of our experiences with the COVID-19 pandemic, making it all the more significant as our caregivers were in the forefront of the fight to contain the spread of this deadly disease.
She says International Women's Day is a reminder to protect the rights of women in the digital space.
This International Day highlights the importance of protecting the rights of women and girls in digital spaces and addressing online and ICT-facilitated gender-based violence. For us in the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Social Services, the theme for us means assessing how we can integrate digital technology into healthcare and more specifically residential care for our most vulnerable.
The minister says the theme calls for more women and girls to have equal rights in digital spaces and access to technology.
The theme calls on more women and girls to have equal access to technology. Digital technologies are being harnessed to support industries worldwide, and it's being seen as an integral part of addressing challenges faced in the health, social care, and aged care sectors. In residential care home settings, these technologies can empower employees to deliver quality care experience for residents. Staff in your care facility can use digital tools to manage their tasks, administrative work, and care-related services.
Dr. William adds that International Women's Day should also be used to recognize and applaud the progress that has been made and to celebrate the achievements of women.
While International Women's Day is a chance to raise awareness on gender equality gaps, today we also wish to celebrate progress and the achievements of individual women. This International Women's Day theme is about re-imaging a world where innovation and technologies are more intentionally leveraged towards transforming our societies and economies so that resources and power are more equitably distributed.
Meanwhile, the women of Cabinet came together to recognize the female public officers for the work that they do. The public officers were greeted by ministers and permanent secretaries as they came into work and were each given a treat. Government Minister Honorable Shakira Lockhart Hippolyte says this initiative is just one way to recognize the female public officers for the roles that they play.
The women in the cabinet today have decided to appreciate the women in the public service today by giving them a pin and a cupcake. We know that in the public service, the women play a very critical role. They are secretaries, they are in management positions, and so today we found it very fitting to just show appreciation. And being here today presenting these pins and cupcakes, they have felt the love. They have felt the love coming from us. And today is a very important day in the lives of women.
International Women's Day is celebrated annually on March 8th. Kuvia John for the Government Information Service.
The Ministry of Agriculture is on track to have an operating coffee plant on island by the end of this year. This as government continues to invest in agro-processing to boost Dominica's export product while increasing the agriculture sector GDP contribution. Minister for Agriculture, Fisheries and the Blue and Green Economy, Honorable Roland Royer, stated $4 million will be allocated for the rehabilitation of the coffee plant.
Cabinet has approved a two-phase strategy for the coffee sector. The first, working with the Venezuelans, will invest around $4 million to rehabilitate the coffee plant in Portsmouth. We know it was damaged by Hurricane Maria, and even prior to that, we had some operational issues. And so, as we speak, we have all equipment required already packaged, ready to be shipped, and they will be on island at least before May of 2023. So far, we have brought water, the Wasco lines, to the facility that was not there before. And of course, we work with Dominica as well to install and replace the transformer, which will be commissioned when we're ready to operate the facility.
Technical support will come from Venezuela to assist in bringing the plant to full operation.
We've conducted technical assessment for the uptake of 2 million BTU natural gas, which will be required to run the plant. So we've actually started putting things in place and work's been done. So once we receive the equipment, the technical support will come from Venezuela. With a consultant will be hired to come and install the equipment, and then there'll be the consultant will also train young persons to operate the machinery to have the coffee plant running. So we're on track, and hopefully by end of year we should see the coffee planting operation.
Due to Hurricane Maria, many coffee farms were destroyed, and the ministry has been working on expanding coffee production. However, the ministry will import coffee beans to start production as soon as possible.
To begin operation at the plant, we'll import green coffee beans from Nicaragua, Costa Rica, and Venezuela to process on their respective brands, and that will be sold back to the countries while we expand production. So once there's sufficient coffee in Ireland, we'll start doing our own coffee brand and market our brand Dominica. So to begin, we'll work with the countries, process, sell back to them with their branded coffee. While we expand, we bring our coffee and do our own brand to market Dominica's coffee. So that's how we intend to start operation.
Minister Roye encouraged farmers to continue with the cultivation of coffee plants, adding that the ministry will provide support.
In the meantime, we continue to expand, encourage farmers to plant and provide the planting materials required for that. So we've already identified the zones and locations that are best suited for coffee, and we continue to work with the farmers. So Extension is promoting that, and we have already identified the varieties that is best suited for coffee.
The Ministry of Environment, Rural Modernization, Kalinago Upliftment and Constituency Empowerment, in partnership with the Government Housing Loans Board, have announced the availability of a revolving loan fund to facilitate climate adaptation in local homes in the amount of US $1.98 million. This pilot project is geared towards building Dominica's capacity to become an accredited entity to access climate financing from the Green Climate Fund. The Government Housing Loans Board officially signed on to the agreement as a service provider with the Ministry of Environment on Thursday, 2nd March 2023. Chairman of the Government Housing Loans Board, Mr. Felix Thomas, anticipates the benefits of the GCF EDA project.
It has been a long time in coming, but like every other thing, sometimes things have processes to go through. But we are happy today that we are able to sign this document that will see the Government Housing Loans Board having access to close to $6 million, well above $5 million, to assist the public officers at an interest rate of no more than 2%. It will go a long way, and as we have said before, it is a pilot project. It will serve as a revolving fund, and we hope that we'll be able to help many public officers and maybe in the future citizens of the Commonwealth of Dominica in a whole who are desirous of making their homes more climate resilient.
Minister for Environment, Rural Modernization, Kalinago Upliftment and Constituency Empowerment, Honorable Jose Frederick, elaborated on the GCF EDA project.
The project has 4 components that will be implemented in 3 pilot countries, Dominica, Grenada, and Antigua. The last component is the award of concessional revolving loans. Our ministry is delighted to have the Government Housing Loans Board as the service provider for this component, and even more pleased to be able to offer these loans at the highly concessional rate of 2%. As we aim to become a climate resilient nation, we are ensuring that we can reduce vulnerabilities of individuals. The loans are to be used specifically for water management, water efficiency, ensuring buildings are climate smart, for flood control, and structural adjustments, such as roof enforcement. At this rate, we truly hope to reach vulnerable households like the folks in the Kalinago space. The ministry continues to contribute towards the ambitious goal to have Dominica become the first climate resilient country in the world.
The components of the GCF EDA project will help Dominica see an even greater increase of homes up to climate resilient standards and will be officially launched later this week. Developers of Dominica's International Airport are seriously considering the safety of the public during construction. Because of the magnitude of the project, it is important that it does not negatively impact the lives of people living nearby. The suitability of the chosen spot for the airport's construction is determined by multiple soil tests, including the geotech study and the environmental impact assessment, or EIA.
We got all the equipments required to do the soil testing and studying of the site levels, etc. And we have established, as you maybe all know, a special laboratory for all these tests and results. Just to make it simple, for every boreholes we have about 26 different tests of soil.
CEO of the Airport Development Company, Mr. Samuel Johnson, says while the Environmental Impact Assessment, or EIA, was concluded last year, the geotech study is ongoing.
The environmental impact assessment that has already been done and concluded. The project site is over 500 acres. Fortunately, it's not virgin. It's not a virgin site. In other words, it's been a site that there's been plantation and production in the past. And that study was done last year and found that there's no endemic or endangered species of plants or animals. They did the study, also it did some interaction with the community as well to collect feedback. So that part has been done. Where you need to ensure that the quality of the soil material for cutting and for filling is suitable, right? And if it's not suitable, what adjustments or what treatments can be done with it? As we all know, that part of the island there's a lot of clay, and that brings its own challenges. But we've been working with the lab to determine exact elasticity, moisture content, and all that, and then what sort of treatments will be done to ensure that there's slope stabilization. So that is still ongoing.
Mr. Johnson says the geotech study is halfway through. Excavation work on the airport site is expected to be accelerated with the arrival of several tons of heavy equipment last weekend.
For today, this is a good day that will expedite our work, will expedite the construction. It will expedite the excavation and the backfilling and all this. So we have today about 132 pieces of equipment, in addition to 44 containers full of building materials, in addition to 11 tons of steel rebars. That's what you see up there.
You're watching National Focus. More when we return. Welcome back. The general public is reminded of the importance of paying their water utility bill on time. The Dominica Water and Sewerage Company, DOWASCO, remains committed to enhancing lives by providing quality and affordable water. A number of bill payment options have been made available in the past to accommodate the public.
I want to thank those who are really paying their bills, but we do have challenges of a number of people who just wouldn't pay, and and just wouldn't pay their bills and seek other ways out not to pay their bills, and that is of concern to us because the bills are already very small, and we need the money to assist in the operations. I mean, the government has had to assist us over the years all the time. And because of the small bills, and when people do not pay, it compounds the process, compounds the problem, and really unfair to those who are trying to make their payments.
DOWASCO continues to work with the general public to improve service delivery and encourage better payment management.
But we are working with people in that regard. We are asking people to come in and make arrangements, where necessary, and try to understand their plight and try to work with them. We do not have a direct online system at this point. We are working with the bank to see that come to fruition, but we do have several methods, several means whereby people can pay. We MLAJA receives payments on behalf of the Wasco as a credit union league system. We have end-to-end distribution or Distributors Limited, Shopee. They receive quite a few people make use of those services, and the credit unions, of course, we continue to use the services of the credit unions and the banks as well.
Meanwhile, Mr. Etinoff expressed his sincerest apologies for any frequent disruptions to the water supply.
We understand the plight when they do not have water. We are faced with some challenges following the trough systems. And something that we've noticed in recent times is even like it's dry now, very sunny in Roseau, Springfield could be impacted. It has been compromised over the years, and then we are doing some work in the river as well to upgrade the system. So hence the reason why sometimes you see it's dry in Roseau and there is some slightly turbid water or no water at all. At times we have to shut the system down. But we are working towards that. We do apologize to people in the Bellevue rural area. They are impacted frequently. Upper Kings Hill. These are two of the areas that are really, really impacted quite frequently.
Dominica and Cuba continue to forge greater relations since the formalizing of diplomatic relations in 1996. Cuba remains one of the principal development partners, particularly in the areas of health and education. The country welcomed a new ambassador from Cuba to Dominica, His Excellency Hugo Ruiz Cabrera, on Tuesday, March 7, 2023. President of Dominica, His Excellency Charles Savre, looks forward to the continued cooperation with the Republic of Cuba.
We embrace our cooperation through the United Nations system, CELAC, ALBA, the Association of Caribbean States, and our relations with the European Union and other regional and international organizations to which we both belong. I have every expectation, Mr. Ambassador, that during your term of office, you will do your utmost to maintain the friendly relations and strengthen and expand the bonds of friendship and cooperation which exists between our two countries. Dominica and Cuba have, over the years, cooperated closely in the areas of health, education, agriculture, trade, and disaster relief efforts.
Over the years, the Republic of Cuba has embraced a significant number of students, providing scholarships to pursue degrees in various fields. This has allowed the public and private sectors in Dominica to thrive with the expertise of these students.
Cuba continues through its medical cooperation program to provide our health sector with the services of several medical specialists in diverse fields, namely oncology, radiology, internal medicine, and optometry. The program makes provisions for collaborators in various fields. These collaborators continue to augment the health services both at primary and secondary level.
Dominica continues to take a stance and calls for the removal of U.S. sanctions on Cuba. Despite the economic challenges posed by the unjustified 60-plus years embargo, Cuba continues to aid in the development of the Caribbean.
Our cooperation with your country in the regional and international arena can be counted upon. Dominica will continue to support Cuba in the international fora and continue to call for the lifting of the unjustified trade restrictions and export bans imposed by the United States of America. Like Cuba, the current situation that exists in our sister countries of Venezuela and Haiti are of great concern to us in the Caribbean and demands greater attention by the international community.
Cuban ambassador to Dominica, His Excellency Hugo Ruiz Cabrera, is satisfied to note Cuba's contributions to the development of Dominica.
I feel deeply proud to see almost in each corner of your beautiful island a professional training in Cuba, and I am more satisfied to realize that they are effective contribution to the country's development. The Cuban official cooperation in the health sector started in 1997 with a small group of doctors who provide services in the former Prince Margaret Hospital, now Dominica China Friendship Hospital. Since then, it has continued without breaks, and the Cuban health professionals have joined hands with those local ones, participating together in the fight for health of the people of Dominica.
The friendship between the Republic of Cuba and Dominica continues to flourish as both countries provide support during times of need. The final production of a documentary film on the history of Kalinago people to be released later this year. Adessia Burton has more in this report.
Minister for the Environment, Kalinago Upliftment, Rural Modernization and Community Empowerment, Honorable Kozia Frederick, to attend the premiere of Kalinago documentary film entitled New Land, The Kalinago Dream. The film first premiered in Germany last year and is scheduled to premiere in Grenada this month. The official trailer was released in July 2022. Over the last year, Minister Frederick, who also works in the capacity of historian and a protagonist of the film, partnered with the Grenada Film Company and German company Time of Motion to collaborate on this 45-minute documentary film about the survival of Dominica's indigenous people.
And what we have done for the past few months is to put together a production that will truly retell the history of the Kalinago people. And so what it does is it provides a 45-minute documentary on the Kalinago community, the struggles throughout our history, and how do we see ourselves moving forward in the 21st century. We're moving forward to have this film viewed in Dominica at the school level, at the community level, to highlight the importance of Kalinago heritage as the foundation of the Dominica or the white Cuban society. So I'm excited to do this trip, not just as the Minister for Kalinago Upliftment, but also just as a normal individual who understand and appreciate the impacts of the cultural heritage on the rest of the country. And so I'll be out from the 8th of this month to the 12th, and to ensure that we continue to share the important part of our heritage to the rest of the world, but more importantly, to highlight the importance of the Kalinago people to the biodiversity of our Caribbean region.
Minister Frederick highlighted the importance of media reflecting Kalinago heritage to foster cultural understanding and appreciation. New Land, Kalinago Dream will be premiered in Dominica later this year.
Good old European jacket.
Your Excellency, you have the floor.
Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Dominicans are proud stewards of our pristine natural environment. We have protected Mother Earth and believe, as our invincible Kalinago ancestors did, that everything in nature is connected. And our fate as humans is tied to the trees, the water, and the air that we breathe. I am a proud descendant of the Kalinago who fought to protect our islands from the onslaught of colonization. We came close to extinction, but courage and resilience sustained us. We have a once in an intergenerational opportunity to take some brave decisions and tackle the climate crisis head-on. The younger generation is already on board. They are seeking out opportunities to innovate. They are bold, less jaded by the past, but they are also driven by a desire to live on a healthy planet, to preserve the territorial and cultural integrity of the island homes in their lifetimes. I close with this nugget of wisdom from North American Indian Chief Seattle. Humankind has not woven the web of life. We are but one thread within it. Whatever we do to the web, we do to it to ourselves. All things are bound together. All things connect. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency.
That's all for this edition of National Focus. Be sure to follow GIS Dominica on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitter. You can also drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm. From all of us here on the GIS News Production team, I am Aliyah Martin. Thanks for watching and stay safe.